we want something that's going to be more supportive long term. And the other project has to do with our test suite. We currently have all of our tests in basically a separate copy of all of our tests for each version of JSON-Schema, and we want to combine that into one test suite so that it's easier to manage in the future. So that's all.
I think you're muted.
Sorry for that. Thanks for sharing, Jason. Juan, do you want to share a quick intro?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Juan. I'm also a TSC member of JSON-Schema, and I maintain a bunch of open source tooling that you might have seen, like the JSON-Schema CLI and things like learnjsonschema.com. And this time around, I'm also mentoring 2 projects. The first one is about extending the test of the JSON-Schema official test suite with regards to format assertion tests. So this is, with JSON-Schema, when you enable the format keyword to validate, we want to make that test suite a lot more I guess, complete and exhaustive. So it's a lot easier for implementers of JSON-Schema to implement these formats correctly. It has been proven to be quite a challenge. And I think a couple of us, at least Jason and I think we haven't even implemented format assertion because of the lack of a proper test suite to back that up. So I think it's probably going to have a nice domino effect on a bunch of implementations. And other than that, I'm also mentoring a smaller project, which is about recycling one module that I have done ages ago for backwards compatibility checking between JSON schemas, and potentially adding that to the JSON schema CLI or to some sort of CLI that people can actually use. I think we can't hear you. You're muted.
Thank you again. Okay, so I think I will not mute myself because I just keep forgetting that I am muted. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And we can see Agnivesh on the call. Do you want to share a quick intro?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. I can see that you.
Yeah. Am I audible? Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Agnivesh Chawla. So this year I'll be mentoring 2 of the projects. One is related to Bowtie, and the other one is related to the studio project, which was selected in last year as well. So let's talk about the studio project first. So Jakpreet Singh, who was the past contributor on this project, did pretty well. And as you can see, we launched this website in around January, and during beginning itself, we received around 500 unique visitors. That's quite impressive for us. And moving forward with this, we thought to extend the support to enhance the websites, to make it more interactive, more user-friendly and all. So that's why we came with the idea this year as well. And luckily we got selected by the organization. Let's see if we get a slot from GSoC. But yeah, that would be fun. And talking about the Bowtie part, here we will be working on adding support for the annotation test suites, which I think last year was finalized in a stable state. So right now, Bowtie doesn't support the annotations annotation output. Why? Because we are currently supporting only the validation part, that is only true or false. So that would be a change on the protocol layer as well. So yep, that would be a cool project as well.
Well, Onitakachi looks frozen. So maybe we'll try to move on without her. I don't know what her agenda is today, but maybe we can open things up to questions. All right, Ahmed, why don't you go first?
I have two questions. First of all, I believe everyone here has a good general idea of the like the things that are taken into consideration when applying for a project. Okay, but I wanted to ask, like, how would you rank them based on importance? Like, what's the most important, most weightful things that we could do? You know, like contributions and how quality of our qualification task and like all of these things. Like, could you rank them based on importance and weight?
By the way, it might be worth for everybody to mention what project you're applying for. Maybe that can help giving more concrete answers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm asking specifically for the LSP one.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it is going to vary by project a little bit. Like a more technical project like the LSP one, I'm going to be more interested in how strong your coding skills are, because that's a very coding heavy project. So your qualification task is part of how we judge your coding skills. So that's going to have pretty high weight. But also your project proposal is also very important. That shows how skilled you are at breaking down a project, how you approach a project, and you know, all those things. So so I'd say those two things are very important. Your contributions to the community are not terribly important, other than they're more opportunity for us to judge how strong you are at coding, and you know, and how you work out problems. So it's just like more opportunities to show us the you know, those two things that that we're really looking for.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, like, where exactly do we start in the project? Like, let's say that let's take the LSP project for example. Okay, like the guy that gets accepted, does he start from the very beginning? Like, does he create the files from the very beginning and stuff, or do you give him like a skeleton or a structured file with just like take this file and start working, like, take this file and start working? Like, what exactly do we start with?
Well, my plan is to create a repo for you, initialize it, because it's going to be a hyperjump project, so it's going to be you know, usually using the typical hyperjump stack and framework and setup and all that stuff, and then and I don't know how much I'll set up for you, but it probably won't be much other than, you know, linting and test frameworks and stuff like that. But it'll be very much starting from scratch for this project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have Harry Haran.
Yeah, hello. So I think I'm working under, am I audible? Yeah, I'm working under JSON-Schema observability. I think it is of Ben, but I think he's not there. But I'll go with a general question. So basically, when we write a proposal, we already been shared, you know, a proposal structure that we need to follow. I think that we need to follow it, right? The structure of how we are going to present it. That is the first question. And the second question is, for example, we take some amount of pages to do proposal with a structured format. Are you guys, going to skim it or really read it in detail? Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can try to answer that. I mean, I guess it's well, I mean, depends on each mentor, right? But for example, I don't care very much that you like very strictly follow the template of the proposal that GSoC provides or whatever. That's just presentation, guidelines or whatever. It's not like a strict mandatory thing that, oh, we're gonna check that you follow the template. I mean, if I'm honest, I don't even know what a template is, right? So I wouldn't even be able to judge whether you're following or not. But I guess the point is your proposal to make sense, right? And to convey that you are indeed the right candidate for the project. And I think conciseness, it's a feature of that, right? I think it's very easy to write a lot. It's very hard to write actually little, right? To get to the point, explain things briefly, that is a skill in and out of itself. So I think if I see, for example, two proposals and they have exactly the same substance, right? And one is explaining something more to the point and the other one is like providing pages and pages of explanation, I'm definitely going to prefer the other one, right? I think it's a signal of like sharp thinking. But even beyond that, again, like I wouldn't recommend that you focus so much on like the proposal template and the document. That's just a medium for you to explain and to convince us that you are the best for this task. So just use it as that, use whatever style that you want and put any information there that you think is going to make your point. The structure or whatever doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's not like the big thing here is the substance.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
makes
think
sense.
I agree with the technical point. When we get to the point where, for example, a lot of people do not already know each other in the community. Some people might have joined, at the time of GSoC. So for them, actually, we can have, can we have a scope of, we do have about, for example, if you're going to talk with each other, you should know me actually, to be a contributor, like you should actually know me. So we do have a section in that. So I think that differs, if I'm not wrong, because if I want to explain more about myself, then I think I can just have a scope about explaining and also related to what I want to do with a project.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. I mean, definitely feel free to introduce yourself. But again, it's not that your specific story or whatever credentials that you have will weight more than the actual substance that is related to the project, right? So it's just again like a hello, this is me kind of stuff, and now here is the substance. So it's more like a satellite thing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll add that you asked if we skim it or if we read it all. I'll say I read it all. I don't know if everybody does, which is why I appreciate if you keep it short and to the point. And like I don't want to read a 20-page proposal. Like that's not necessary. Keep it simple, to the point, detailed, but succinct.
Okay, I think if you don't mind, let's get objective here. Like, what is the average number of pages that you all like to have in a proposal?
The thing is, it's not a specific pages, right? It might depend on the project.
No,
even,
for
and
example,
how
let's
much you
say
need
that
to
you got a
explain, right?
proposal and no, let's say that you got a proposal and that is this number of pages. You say, yeah, this is great. Okay, no, not like a relief. Okay, this is this number of pages. I can easily read it.
I think less than 10 pages maybe for me, but I think that's definitely personal. It really depends on the project. I guess not that we're saying, oh, if you go over 10 or 12, then you get negative points. It's more like we want to prevent somebody submitting like an 80 pages proposal, right? That's just like a lot of work to read.
Right. And even 10 pages is a lot. Like it's probably not, you probably don't need that much.
Yeah, true.
Thanks.
Yeah, minimalism, again, like that matters even in writing in general, right? Even if you write a book or a blog post or whatever, writing a lot is actually really easy. Writing little is really hard.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks once again.
Another thing I'll that came to my mind is that for it, like if you're writing code, if you have code in your proposal, you're probably getting too detailed, right? So maybe small things, very small things, but we don't want to see, like, that's what the qualification task was for. So like if your proposal is really long because you've got a bunch of code in it, like that's, you're probably on the wrong path here.
Yes.
I may add to that, actually. I think you raised a good point, Jason, because I think on previous GSoC cases, I think we saw people just treating the proposal as the entire submission of the solution, right? They would just like provide the code for the entire thing. And that's not the point, right? You're not solving it at the proposal level. You're just trying to make the point that, you are probably the best one that we should select for that, so that then we can actually do the work, right?
All right, thank you, Harry Haran, for your questions. We have Ace.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I've been working on the project of the comprehensive test suite. I also submitted a PR previously and asked some question directly to Mr. Juan himself. So I just wanted to clarify on that question like further. I also opened issue for that in the spec repo. So like the comments that we are adding in the end of what we did for the IPv4 test cases, we added like one complete base comment for the IPv4 at the top of the file itself. And only in specific test cases did we mention like separately comments. So do you want that for every single test case that we just mention like the base ABNF rules as the top level comment, and then only specific test cases are to be more explained further?
I mean, I think, well, I mean, it's definitely a very specific question. I think we will get a lot in depth into that if you are actually selected, right? More than, like, I wouldn't expect that to come up during the proposal, phase. But if you're, I guess it depends, right? I think for me on the test suite, I mean, you probably don't have to annotate everything. It's probably worth annotating the ones that are definitely a bit subtle, right? And would require potentially a couple of reads to actually understand why this is it, right? There are some examples that you might have come across on formats that are definitely counterintuitive, right, to all of us. And we would definitely have to reread the spec a couple times, and maybe even then we miss it again, right? So those are the ones that I warrant, I think, more a precise explanation saying, hey, this one, you're probably, if you just skim through it, you're probably going to think it's wrong, but hey, this is exactly why it's counterintuitive, right? So just, in general, it's like code, right? I mean, you don't want to comment on everything that you are coding. You just want to let the code speak. But there are parts that are definitely not counterintuitive, right? And you might want to drop a comment saying, hey, this is why we do this, right? So same philosophy, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Fine.
Thank you, Ace, for that question. And we have Ahmed again.
First of all, I apologize for the asking a lot, but
ask a lot of questions. A lot of people might be wondering the same as you, but you might be more brave to go ask them also.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, in the project proposal, I know that we last time you said that we needed to basically show you that we understand the problem. We need to give you the from what I understand, the framework that I've planned on doing is pinpoint the hardest, most milestone-y parts of the project and say how I would solve them. Okay, but how deep do I need to go? Surely you don't need a 20-page explanation of how exactly I would solve everything, but how deep do I go? Is there a general guideline on that? Do I just generally say how I would give a general solution to the problem, or what do exactly I do?
I think it depends on the problem. So there are going to be, there's going to be lots of issues that we have to solve. Some of them are relatively easy, some of them are relatively hard. So I would say for the things that are relatively hard, you want to go into more detail. And for the things that are relatively easy, just like a simple statement on what the approach is.
What would be your perfect, I guess, proposal, Jason? I mean, maybe a bit high level, hard question, right? But maybe to guide people, and I can do that the same for my project. But what would you think that if you would see on a proposal, you'd be like, oh wow, that's really cool?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I'm looking for is that somebody has analyzed the current language server and identified all of the features and itemized all the features that we have to replicate. And then I guess going through that list, maybe prioritizing which ones are going to be hard, which ones are going to be easy. What order are we going to implement them based on what's hard and easy? Do we do the easy stuff first? Do we do the hard stuff first? Or some other approach?
Yeah, so like research, I guess, around the problem, maybe just to summarize it. Yeah, I guess what Jason is trying to say, and again, I'm not an expert on the language server, right? But maybe what I'm reading from you, just listening from you, Jason, is that these language servers seem to be very complicated, also from what I've seen on the surface. And I think proving that you are able to peel off all of the layers and determine all of the tricky requirements that actually come into doing these, which are a lot more tricky than they seem on the surface, that would be cool, I guess.
Yeah, and also there's it's not just how language servers work, which is complicated to begin with, but it's to do, because we're replacing this. The idea is to replace this this tool. We want to make sure that we're actually replacing it with solid. People can just drop in the new thing, and everything that they did before will just work. Maybe a little bit better, maybe slightly different if it needs to, but we need to know at what level we're replacing that. Is it a kind of sort of almost covers the features that it did before, or does it do everything and a little bit more, or most things but not this thing, right?
Okay, thank you.
It's a complicated project for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think it's yeah.
Yeah, and I don't expect that one to be finished, actually. That might be good context to have. I expect that one will probably be done in we'll get as far as we can in the Google Summer of Code, and then we'll keep going, or maybe I'll keep going, but yeah, that's a big project, I expect.
All right, thanks for the question, Ahmed. We have Paras.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I was working with the unified test suite. Let's move from the complex one to the simple one. So actually, I analyzed enum.json across all 6 versions. What I saw 4 categories of differences that are identical test, test with added subtest, the test with schema structure changes, and version exclusive test. I wanted to ask, is this the right mental model for categorizing all files, or there is something else I should watch out for?
I don't think I fully understand, but yeah, I think you said you recognize that some tests are the same in some in different folders, right? For different versions of JSON schema.
Yeah, there are tests with some added subtests. There's tests with some schema structure changes, and some are version exclusive tests. For example, they are only exclusive for draft 3 and draft 4.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I'm going to categorize it and to write the compatibility for it.
Yeah. So so the compatibility flag that was designed for the annotation tests is pretty flexible. It can, it can say like between these two versions, or or even you could just like say, in version 3 and version 7, but not 4 and 6. We don't have anything that works like that, but it's it's possible. So I mean, the idea is to basically just tag every test with what versions they're compatible with and remove the duplicates. So and probably also going through with and identifying some things that like, oh, this test with a little bit, with a small insignificant tweak, we can make it compatible with more different versions, and so we can test that same function or that same feature in with fewer tests. So maybe some of that would be helpful as well. There's other things that we can do to improve the test suite as we go that would be nice to see included. For example, the remotes are a mess, and so if there's other details that we can go through and fix up and clean up along the way, that would be nice too.
I also had a second question, which was for the qualification task. How should I show it to you? I should show it to you in the qualification task in proposal, or I should give my GitHub repo to you to tell you this is what I did. And also on the qualification task for the unifying suit, I also wanted to ask that the annotation suit ones, I couldn't do the dynamic ref. Like for those tags, I just couldn't have the annotations and couldn't pass the test. I couldn't make an harness for it. I could for other things, but the core.json had some dynamic ref which I just couldn't have the address of.
Yeah. All right. So starting with the first part of the question, you can your project should be in a GitHub repo, and it should be private, and you can share with me and Julian, and keep a link, include a link in your proposal, and then that's the way we'll see it. Please don't put code in your proposal, because I'd rather have it in a GitHub repository where I can pull it down and run it easily. So let's see, what was the second part again?
Second part was about the dynamic ref. The tag it has in the core.json of attribute suit. Sorry, annotation suit. Yes, suit.
So I'm not sure exactly what issue you're coming up with, but I will say that every implementation won't necessarily pass all of the tests. So it's okay if the implementation you're testing fails, and your test harness just needs to report that that test failed. But if there's some other issue that you're running into with the test itself, maybe that's another thing. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paras, for your question. We have Nishant.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah, so my question is already addressed here. I was also going to ask about this coding part, we have to implement this whole code into our proposal or not, that is already cleared by Jason and Yuan. Because I was thinking about that if I am doing a qualification task and I am adding the same thing in my code files, because I have seen previous GSoC participants proposals, and they were like including whole code. So I was thinking like what we are going to do between May 1 to May 24 if I am going to give all the content here and not even discussing with the mentors that what we are going to do and how we are planning this stuff and what we need here. So that's why I was going to ask this question. I have like included the high level type of a design. Like it's not a code, but like what we are going to execute and what is our project goal and what will be the end result. So that part is okay, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think, I mean, overall, because we usually get, a ton of these questions are the proposals. I think my advice after, I guess, being a mentor like a couple times already, is like, don't overthink the proposal very much. I think a lot of people put like so much weight and the proposal has to be absolutely perfect. And for example, you were mentioning like looking at other existing GSoC proposals. I think my advice would be just like ignore what everybody else is doing, right? And just think it from first principles and just use the proposal in any way you want and any format that you want, in a way that, again, like you can make your case. Like, for example, think about from our point of view, why are you the best one for this specific project that we should select? If you answer that question, I think in any way that you can, right, potentially in a concise manner, either the format doesn't matter, what all the other people in GSoC did doesn't really matter, right? The proposal is extremely specific and custom to you, right? Like why exactly should we pick you? Imagine that, for example, for any project that you apply, we might get other 10 people that they are all trying to make the point that I am the best one for this one, right? How do you plan to stand out on that, right? And just write exactly that, right? Whatever that is, in whatever shape that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Nishant. Your questions. We have Osiris.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, hello everyone. To make sure, I have prepared my proposal for issue 994, and I invited a mentor to my repository. So currently, the repository is public. So should I keep it for public, or is it better to make it private during the evaluation period?
It's better for it to be private for now, because we want everybody to solve the problem on their own and not just find somebody else who's already solved it and submit a copy of their response.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it can dilute, imagine, for example, for some people that, and I pointed that out, I think for also the format assertion one, I've seen I don't know exactly which one you're applying, but for example, for the format assertion one, I think a lot of people were reporting interesting cases already on the GitHub issue. And now, everybody else is trying to apply for the proposal. I might just use the exact same example, and then on the proposals, I might get like 10 of them doing all exactly the same because somehow they copied from each other, and it's impossible to know who was the actual person that solved this and who are the ones that actually copied all over. So I guess it helps on that, right?
Okay, I understand. So I will make it in private. Thank you.
Cool. What project is it that you're applying, by the way? I think you said the number, but I don't recall the.
Yes, 994, issue 994.
But which one is it? The name?
The
It's
name, unified test. It is a unified
Okay,
test.
fine.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Osiris, for your question. We have Suyog.
Yes, hello everyone. Actually, I have a question like we have proposed, JSON-Schema has proposed 7 projects for the GSoC. So then will we get all 7 slots from Google, or there will be some like 4 slots or 6 slots Then if we get less slots, then how will the organization decide that which projects should have higher priority? And
Yeah, so we don't know. That's all up to Google. What I can say is that we have so far, I think, do we get all the slots we asked for every time we've done
I believe so, yeah.
more code? Yeah, so I think it's so while it's possible that Google will say, you know, we won't get all of them, I think it's reasonable to expect that we will.
And actually, do they pick the ones that like, how does that work? I think that's an interesting question as well. I don't know the answer either. Like, for example, if Google decides to give less slots, do they choose the one that they are not given the slot to?
Yeah, actually.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't really depend on us. I guess it's Google has to think that it's a cool project as well.
okay, means Google will decide that which project should be selected.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but we decide who gets selected to do the project.
Yes.
If they select it, right? It's a chain of selection.
So, okay. So basically, I was working on the ecosystem project. So, is there any chance if less number of slots have been given by the Google, so this project will make it?
So it's not that up to us, right? So I guess Google has to decide that our proposal for the ecosystem project is something that they want to fund, right? So this decision is not really on us, right? It really depends on Google. But as Jason said, for all of the past years that we did GSoC, we always got all of the slots for every project that we proposed. So I mean, think it in a way like you are applying as a student to the projects, but we as an organization are applying to Google as well, right? We kind of have to write their own proposals to Google as well. So we're all in the same boat, funnily enough, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sial. We have Shivam.
Morning, everyone. By the way, my question is very related to the engineering purpose. For example, right now I'm going for LSP1, the language of protocol project, and there is very quick standard for writing a backend code and a front-end code where we choose the folder structure, then the writing techniques, and the language after that, which is suitable for us. So is the same thing works for LSP? For example, for performance, we can pick multiple choices like Java, Go, and C# kind of thing. And both have their own structure to return a code.
I think for that project, the tech stack is fixed. It needs to be in TypeScript using the hyperjump JSON-Schema library. That's just one of the requirements. Yeah, like I'm very much aware that that performance-wise, that there might be better options, but that's what we're doing.
And about the structure, we are picking for the folder structure and the code returns way.
What I didn't understand that part.
Like folder structure we pick, for example, like we make a global components function, a folder where we store our all files which is related to globally. We manage the file group, for example, for as a front-end perspective, I just share my knowledge. We make a global components where we manage in a global folder where all global components we store there, and we pick import or export from there and pick and use anywhere in our project. So is this kind of folder structure I'm asking for LSP?
So are you asking, like, I mean, this sounds like, you know, implementation style details, like
yeah.
Are you asking, like, should you put that in your proposal?
I'm asking for the architecture, by the way. So may I just
I
work
would
on
say
my
that's for later, it sounds, right? I think at the proposal stage, probably not worth bothering with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the stuff that you're talking about isn't important for the proposal. Those sound like details that will work out when we start building.
yes, by the way, it's not related to my proposal, it's related to the real stuff when we start. So how we manage the files and how I can if I try to build something on my own.
I'm not following.
But I think, I mean, I think it's the same thing, right? Like probably, I think for the proposal, don't worry about it very much. I think all of those questions is not probably that we have an answer off the bat, right? Is that we're probably going to explore that in detail with whoever gets selected, right? That's kind of the point of GSoC, right? So I guess, you know, the maybe a way to say it is your question is going to get an answer if you're selected on the project, and while you're actually working on the project, you might collaborate with the mentor to get that answer.
Okay.
Together.
Yeah. Yeah, keep your proposals high level, right? Coding style is not it's not particularly important at this point. You know, architectural decisions, design decisions are what you want to focus on.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivam. We have Rita Brata.
Hi, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Hello. Yes.
Yes, sure.
So I was actually cultivating that compatibility checker project particularly. So I didn't, I mean, see anyone talking about that project. So I think I should talk about that project something. And I need, I mean, I had some queries about that particular project. Like, Juan, you have mentioned a qualification task for that particular project. And I mean, what do you expect from the qualification task? Because you have mentioned that I mean, you for a demo purposes show a CLI integration of the particular argument. So, what the particular thing do you want from that qualification task?
So I guess, I mean, what I'm saying, so for example, for context on that project, the engine that is able to compute its backwards compatibility rules, it has mostly been done, right? I think it's only JSON-Schema 2012, and it covers at least a very reasonable amount of stuff. So the project is not really about creating an engine of backwards compatibility rules from scratch, because we already kind of have that, right? I mean, I guess you could keep extending it and adding more stuff, but that's not the goal of the project. So assuming that engine exists, right, the project is about how to create a decent user experience around that, right? So what I want to see on that project is somebody that has the skills of like thinking like of having development tooling thinking and user experience from that point of view. Like, for example, how should the CLI expose these, right? What arguments would you choose? What kind of output? How would that even fit a local development, workflow versus a CI environment workflow? Like, are you able to put in the shoes of a developer or a company actually trying to use these in their pipelines, right? It's like, can you prove that you can think properly through that experience, right? And then you can, for example, do that in the proposal either with some screenshots or like with some mock output that you create. I think in any way that you want. I just want to see that you can reason about how to create developer tooling. Assuming that, again, you have the logic, how do you think about providing experience? That's more like product thinking in a way. And I think that's going to be the vast majority of the project.
Okay. And one more, I think, I mean, after, I mean, the project started, I'll be working, I mean, whoever will be selecting will be working on the particular JSON-Schema CLI repo, no? The source matter repo.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is your question on that? I don't think I got it.
I mean, we need to work on the particular JSON-Schema CLI repo, or we have to configure a different separate repo for that.
I mean, probably so. I mean, I think there was some discussions on the issues. I think it depends, right? And on maybe the whole experience or whatever. Like, does it make sense on the JSON schema repo, or is it, for example, too much in flux that we probably want to experiment with it on a different CLI first to nail down the experience? But I think that's more implementation detail. I think ideally that would come to the JSON schema CLI. The only reason that we were having some discussions of whether not do that on step one is probably having a command in there, and then we have to like revamp the thing 3 times and introduce 3 breaking changes until we actually nail down the experience, right? So I think I would like to first see some level of maturity on the command and how we're thinking it to be more confident on releasing down the CLI, which is used quite a lot by a lot of people. So maybe it might be that we actually experiment with it on a independent CLI first until we nail down how it would behave, and then we do the port, right? Something like that, maybe.
Okay, got it, got it. And I mean, a slightly in-depth, question for you for that particular project. I mean, currently I just went through the particular version cruiser that has been open sourced by Cloud, for the project itself. And for that, in the output result, we are getting trace. So that contains the compatibility types and the particular schema pointers. I mean, the old schema and the new, the old schema and the new schema. So I mean, but the particular output doesn't give give any human readable messages.
Exactly, and that's the point of the proposal, right? Once you have that engine that, for example, with 2 schemas, it gives you the traces of specifically which part against which part is breaking compatibility, right? With a JSON pointer to each. How can you exploit that to create a very nice user experience? That's the point of the proposal and the project.
Yeah, so okay, that's what we're able to build on top of that engine, the version control.
Exactly. Think about what would a developer or a company using this would they enjoy seeing, right? Oh yeah, anytime.
Thank you for your question. We have Dia.
Hello, everyone. I am Dia Shrivastava. Am I audible?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So I am Dia Shrivastava. I'm an engineering student and I'm from India. So basically, I am working on the replacement of the JSON language service project. So I had a question from Jason actually. So I was going through Slack. I'm pretty active on Slack. So I read somewhere on Slack that you said that this is going to be more of a learning experience. So I was wondering, like, if it is going to be a learning experience, are we not obliged to deliver a full-fledged working replacement? Like, to what extent it should be working so that I can draft my proposal accordingly? To what extent?
Yeah, I don't have a satisfying answer for that. It's we'll get done as much as we get done, and as long as we're making progress and learning, it's fine. Like I'm like, as long as we don't get like very little or nothing done, then everything's fine. But yeah, this is like, I expect this to probably be and you saw with the JSON schema errors project, I did the same kind of thing where we started off with the project and we learned what worked and what didn't, and then I started over basically and kept what worked and tried some different things, and this project I would expect to go very much that same way, where we'll try a bunch of things, some of it will work, some of it won't, and then maybe it'll be in a state where we can pivot, and maybe it'll be in a state where we start over.
Yeah, maybe it's another GSoC project again next year, for what it's worth.
It could be, yeah, but yeah, so I guess maybe the takeaway there is for your proposal, maybe optimize for learning rather than necessarily the most solid project. So I mean, while testing is going to be a very important thing for me, and like we need to have a testing strategy, like maybe bulletproofing everything isn't the most important thing, and being super performant isn't necessarily the most important thing, but learning about where the bottlenecks are going to be is going to be important, stuff like that. So yeah, optimize for learning.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very complex project, right? I think you guys are brave for applying to it. I think I would definitely be a bit scared of jumping into that project, given the scope is massive. It's massive engineering effort. I think if a GSoC student or you would be able to deliver an entire production-ready language server, I think you should just like get hired by Microsoft on the spot, right? To work on VS Code. This is like really complicated stuff, so it's just as far as you can probably go, right?
Okay, thank you. That makes so much sense. Another thing, is there an advantage if we submit our proposals earlier? Like, since I haven't done that already and I'm panicking a little.
Not really.
No, I haven't looked at any submitted proposals yet. So
yeah, we look at them all together, right? I think.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add to that, right, the goal is just to submit before deadline, because it is only the submitted projects that will be reviewed.
Right.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for your questions. We have Hari Haran again.
Yeah. So I think I don't know how you manage the repositories. We have vast number of repositories. I think the question is, apart from projects, we do have repository that, for example, if I want to contribute not only GSoC, not only for GSoC, but continue to contribute and learn and analyze repositories. I've circled down 2 or 3 repositories like JSON-Schema spec and test suits, but I just want to know from your point of view, what are the repositories or current issues that you guys are working on? To like what are you focusing on apart from GSoC?
Oh, all right. I guess real quick, my focus right now is on the specification. We're trying to get a new release out that we're calling V1. We're moving past the drafts, nomenclature and patterns, and we want to have a version that we can evolve and change and grow without having to have a distinct version for every time we do a release. So that is that's my primary focus right now, although GSoC has completely derailed that for now, but hoping to get back to that. I also have a bunch of open source tools, all are mostly around JSON-Schema that I maintain and build. So I work on those as well.
Mr.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, to complement your question is, I guess, depending on what you want to contribute to, right? Because again, this volunteering stuff, like, I mean, just pick whatever you enjoy, because otherwise, like, why do it, right? It doesn't make any sense. So for you personally, what do you find interesting in the JSON-Schema ecosystem? And that can be either tooling or like repos in the JSON-Schema org, or repos that we, the TSC, maintain in our own orgs, like, for example, my source meta org. But if you find anything that you like, right? I mean, probably, I guess the key thing would be asking that the maintainer of that specific project. Maybe, hey, I definitely really find this project very interesting. I would like to contribute. What are some things that I could help with? I think it really depends on each project and each mentor. Not mentor, but maintainer, right? Whatever they have in mind at that is a specific point in time, and they might be willing to go help you out. Contribute. But do it on interest, right? I mean, don't do it like a checklist. I think just go pick whatever you like really enjoy.
the point where I just got this question was basically I was just exploring. I think I explored about 3 or 4 repositories. So the number of repositories that I forked actually got increased. So I thought, why do I need to fork a lot of repositories? I just want to learn without actually going to one and all, because I just want, getting understanding of one repository is greater than again understanding a lot of repositories. So that
For
is why I
sure.
just wanted to know, in a path where we can have, overlapping, like what you want and what I want, so that.
Exactly. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. In that case, I might focus on trying to contribute to some implementation that is interesting to you, rather than the test suite or the spec or the website, because that'll get you more involvement in how JSON schema works and how it fits in the community and all that stuff.
True. The other ones are harder. Yeah. Like an implementation might be a good starting point.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. We have Ahmed.
Back for seconds and thirds, I guess. I just this is a quick one. I just wanted to ask, like, who decides which application is accepted? Like, who decides who gets to do the actual project? Like, is it just the mentor, or is it like all of the contributors together, or who exactly does it?
The mentors.
Like all of them, or just the one that, like,
the ones assigned to that project, right? If more than 2, you need to reach agreement between those 2. However, I mean, we might, like just ask for a like cross check with each other, right? For example, say if I get 2 proposals for my projects and I can't decide because they are really good, I might actually, for example, go ask Jason and say, hey, what do you think? Help me decide a bit, because I can't.
Okay,
or something like that, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. Then we have Mitzal.
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Hi. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so while working on the empty enum case, I noticed that the meta schemas allow empty enum, but semantically it results in a schema that matches no instances. I added tests to cover that runtime behavior. There was also a suggestion to explicitly test that it's valid against meta schema, but then it came up that this might not be the test suite's responsibility. So I wanted to ask, how should we think about this boundary? Like, when should the test suite include explicit meta schema validation tests versus focusing on the runtime behavior?
I would say, I mean, it's my opinion that we should never be testing the meta schema directly in the test suite. I have an open PR introducing an alternative, so that it's in the spec repo, where we actually have tests for testing the meta schema. And I'd like to focus any meta schema tests over there instead of in the normal test suite from now on.
So
So that's
understood.
the path.
I didn't saw that. Yeah. So I'll just shift those tests to the spec instead of putting those in the test suite.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. So we have the last person here because we are out of time. This is already 1 hour. So we have Paras.
So my question was for the unifying test suite's qualification task. It said to make an harness for the annotation test suites. What do you expect from that harness exactly? It would be lovely to hear that. Does you expect that it should run on every annotation test suite's JSON files, or it should work on particular ones, or what?
So it should run the entire test suite, the entire annotation test suite, ideally on multiple dialects. So not just 2012, but other dialects as well. I would love to see every dialect that the implementation you're testing is run against your test suite. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Just like, run each test and report, does it pass, does it fail?
Thank you, Jason.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining. This has been an impactful section, and if you have any more missing question, please feel free to drop a note on the channel, and definitely you have someone to reply to those questions. But for now, we are good to go. However, let's just take a picture to conclude this session. So can you put on your camera? It's not a must though, but if you love to put on your camera, I would also like that. Cool. Okay, so let's wait for a minute. Do we have anyone else that would love to put on their camera? So we just take this. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. All right. Smile. Okay, one last one. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.